Female teacher went to visit a student's home and found that the student's parents had passed away. The walls were covered with certificates the student had earned every semester. She thought about how the student always ranked first in his grade on every exam, but he was about to be expelled from school because he couldn't pay the $100 tuition fee. The teacher instantly felt a deep sense of guilt and heartache, and tears began to fall. At that moment, the student came in carrying chopped firewood, looking both surprised and nervous to see the teacher. It was then that the teacher realized just how hard this underprivileged student's life was. She was about to take him out to a nice meal when the boy's aunt arrived and scolded him for not gathering enough firewood. Right in front of the teacher, she said. He might as well stay home from now on and quit school altogether. The boy didn't want to stay home and continue being exploited by his aunt, so she raised her hand, ready to punish him. Luckily, the teacher intervened. The teacher said that receiving 9 years of compulsory education is a national requirement, and refusing to let the boy attend school was illegal. She was prepared to take the boy with her. But just then, the aunt started yelling that a human trafficker was trying to steal her nephew. At this, neighbors quickly gathered around. But once they realized the woman was a teacher from the local elementary school, they told the aunt she must be mistaken. When her scheme failed, the aunt changed her tune, saying that if the boy left, his parents' house would belong to her, and she would have nothing more to do with the boy. Just then, the village chief arrived to mediate. He explained that the boy's parents had given the house to the aunt on the condition that she cared for him until he turned 18. The boy was only 10 years old now, yet she was already trying to take the house. The aunt quickly defended herself, saying she cooked for him every day and never let him go hungry. But the boy said he just wanted to go to school. The neighbors all agreed that the boy should be allowed to study so he could make something of himself and later repay his aunt. The aunt then said she wouldn't take care of him anymore and that anyone who wanted to could take him. At that, the villagers generously chipped in money, offering to let the boy come to their homes for meals. The boy gratefully nodded to each one, thanking them sincerely. One day, the boy ran to the teacher's office to tell her that he had finally gathered enough money for his tuition, but the teacher told him that the school already knew about his situation, and that he qualified for the national tuition waiver. She told him to keep the money for pocket expenses. The boy continued to do well, always ranking first in his grade on every exam. His dream was to be accepted into the city's top high school. But one day, as he was about to show the teacher his report card to share the good news, he overheard the teacher arguing with her husband. It turned out the teacher wanted to sponsor the boy's high school education, but her husband worried that they couldn't afford it. In the end, he didn't agree and stormed off angrily, not wanting to trouble the teacher. The boy hid his report card behind his back and lied, saying he had only been accepted into an ordinary high school. When the teacher saw the report card, she realized he had actually been accepted into the best high school in the county. She reassured him not to worry about the high school living expenses, promising that she would help him figure it out. Still worried about his living costs, the boy met an elderly man who collected recyclables for a living, and he could see the boy was troubled. After learning the boy's worries about affording school, the old man invited him to collect recyclables together during the summer to save up money. Right before the school term began, the teacher brought the boy some good news. A kind person, after hearing about the boy's grades and family situation, had offered to sponsor him for 6 years. She handed him $5,000 for his first year's living expenses. The boy thought the money came from the teacher and her husband, but they told him it wasn't from them. Curious about the identity of his benefactor, the boy asked, but the teacher said the kind person had asked to remain anonymous. So for all 3 years of high school, the boy never knew who had been secretly helping him, until one day after school, he returned home, and saw the teacher visiting the old man's house. It was then that he realized the kind person who had been sponsoring him all along was the elderly man who collected recyclables to make a living.